up and realize that decades of feminism had done little to reverse the social expectation that mothers, sisters, wives, and daughters should provide care for young children, elderly parents, and sick relatives, as well as perform the emotional labors that hold families together in times of crisis. Planning Zoom birthday parties, organizing virtual funerals, or lending a sympathetic ear to support the psychological health of loved ones far and near. I wondered, how many women with wise and excellent souls were crushed under the avalanche of nurturing suddenly required of them? In the first 6 months of the pandemic, all statistics pointed to a female jobs apocalypse. By September 2020, 4 times as many American women as men had left the labor market, as COVID-19 forced remote learning to continue for the new school year. Not all departures were voluntary. C. Nicole Mason of the Institute for Women's Policy Research coined the term she-cession to describe the wave of unemployment that hit mothers the hardest. A July 24th article in The Guardian ran with the headline that UK working mothers are the sacrificial lambs in the coronavirus childcare crisis. In the same month, the British Office for National Statistics reported that women performed 2/3 of households' additional childcare duties, and that most of these duties comprised non-developmental care, meaning that while fathers played with their children, mothers did the cooking, cleaning, nappy changing, and washing up. In households with kids under the age of 5, women did on average about 80% more caring than men. Even in the best of times, women give up their own dreams, ambitions, and interests to provide unpaid care, producing for free the next generation of workers, taxpayers, and consumers necessary for our economies to function. This at-home labor allows states to cut or reduce public expenditures for the provision of childcare, elder care, health care, and education, thereby lightening tax burdens, often for the wealthy. When a crisis hits, social expectations about their inherently nurturing dispositions mean that women's self-sacrifice is the ultimate backup plan. It didn't have to be this way. For over 2 millennia, people have dreamed of building societies that reimagined the role of the family, not just for the benefit of women, but for men too. These utopian thinkers envisioned communities bonded by friendship, love, and a desire for mutual aid that joined together to support the many essential labors typically performed behind closed doors, sharing chores, homes, sometimes possessions, and often the responsibility for raising the next generation. As the pandemic created more chaos and upheaval in the world of work and expanded the role of governments in protecting public health, I began to wonder what kinds of changes would reshape our private lives, and how these new ways of living might draw inspiration from earlier utopian experiments. Rather than an exhaustive survey, I wrote this book as an accessible introduction to a wide variety of ideas from a broad scope of intellectual traditions that might help us think our way into a different future. Although I occasionally mention utopian visions in literature, film, television, and other sorts of popular culture, I chose to focus on political, philosophical, and theological texts, as well as existing historical and contemporary communities. Everywhere you look today, people are exploring new and different ways of organizing their personal lives, from the successful co-housing movement in Denmark, the flourishing ecovillages of Colombia and Portugal, or the new vision of schooling once proposed by the Education for Self-Reliance program in Tanzania. The inclusion of true-life examples highlights that even the most outlandish ideas can have real impacts on the way we shape our private relationships. It is silly to be dismissive of radical social dreams when there are so many people already showing us how to turn these dreams into practical realities. I use the term utopian quite broadly in this audiobook, following the work of the German sociologist Karl Mannheim, and realize that many activists or members of specific religious communities might bristle at the application of this term to their worldview. But today, too many people use the words utopian and unrealistic synonymously, and I want to challenge this equivalence. Utopian, as I use it, simply denotes thinkers and movements that attempted to rearrange the domestic sphere